Hi, welcome to Spinster actually. I guess I thought this would be more in view, but it's not. But today's video is going to be about the 75 hardstyle challenge. So the 75 hardstyle challenge is like basically a challenge where you get dressed and you record what you wear for 75 days. The idea is also that you're not buying anything in those 75 days. Yeah, it's just like a challenge to see what you wear, what you like are repeat wearing, I guess, how you're wearing things, and also I guess to get a handle on like what is in your wardrobe versus what you're like constantly buying. I'll leave links to the person who originated the challenge, which was on TikTok I believe, but now I can't actually remember all the details, but I will definitely leave links and like credit and stuff in the description box, so do check that out. But I was interested in this challenge as just a way to record like what you wear in, you know, 2.5 months. So right, 36, yeah, 2.5 months. So that is what I did. I did, you know, I have a chronic illness, I've said this before, and also I observe Shabbat in my way, so I didn't, record literally every single day for 75 days. There were definitely days where I just, either I was like, I didn't get dressed because like I didn't leave the house and I was like, you know, unwell, so I didn't record those outfits or anything, and they weren't outfits, they were just like pajamas. Or yeah, sometimes I just like missed a day because like it was Shabbat, although occasionally if I wore like a specific outfit on Shabbat then I would record it, but like after the day. So it was recorded, it just wasn't recorded on the day. I can't remember exactly when I started, but I started in February and the aim was to finish in May, and I did do that. I think I started like halfway through February or something, but I could be wrong. I hope the piles of clothes aren't too distracting, but I kind of thought it would be a nice background, and I will talk about some of the various bits here as we go along. Yeah, so for me, I wasn't trying to do this as a way to kind of control my like consumption habits. I made like a whole video, I guess, about like all of the things I got in 2024, and I feel quite similar about how in check, I guess, I have my consumption of clothing. I do obviously make my own clothes, so that was like I didn't stop myself from doing that, so maybe that's sort of cheating or whatever. I mean, I think the creator of this challenge is very like, you know, make it adaptable to you, make it work for you. I wouldn't say I found this like a hard challenge. I didn't like bother to make sure that I looked like presentable or my hair always looked good or whatever, so you know, I guess that's a little vulnerable because I am gonna share footage of all of the outfits. I also didn't record everything that I wore like out the house all the time. There are some clips where I've shown like the coat I was wearing or the various coats I was wearing with each outfit, so I also thought I would just like chat about what was often accompanying what I was wearing. I have this like big coat that I wore, which is in like maybe 1 or 2 clips, which is like a navy coat, and it's like long. It goes to, I don't know, like calf length. It's pretty long. And I like to wear that in the winter time. I also sometimes wore like a scarf that I knit on top of everything. I almost always wore the same shoes, which are boots. I'm not sure if I've shown them on this channel before, but they're walking boots. I wear them for my chronic pain, it really helps me. And yeah, so pretty much every single day I wear those, except from a few days in the like later time, so mostly in like the last week of me doing this, I wore my Doc Martens sandals that I have. So yeah, I probably wore those like 2, maybe 3 times. But every other time I was wearing my boots. I do need to like get some trainers, I think, that I can trust to like be okay with my ankles, because I do have a pair of really old trainers, but the last time I wore them I like twisted my ankle and I don't really want to like wear them, because the good thing about the boots and also the sandals, like the DM sandals, is I do feel like they support my ankles like fairly okay. I mean the sandals less so, but like I wear them if I'm not going to be walking loads, so it doesn't feel, you know, whereas like as it gets hotter, wearing my boots is just gonna make me so hot, so I do need to find cooler summer shoes that still offer like ankle support. But anyway, the other things I wore, so I also have some clips where I'm wearing this bag, which is just my like, you know, over the shoulder everyday bag, and then I also switched out to this green one, which again is just another over the shoulder bag. Both of these bags are handmade. This one was not made by me, it was made by my aunt for me, and then I've repaired it. There was like a hole, so I added in this section. I did also repair it during the challenge, so I wore it at the beginning, then I stopped wearing it because I needed to repair it. I repaired it, and then I broke my repair, so I then also stopped wearing it, which is, yeah, why I then started just using this again. So this is now in my to re-repair pile. I clearly just didn't repair it strong enough, and I think I hand sewed down the strap, which is what has come off, and then I literally just like pulled all of the stitches I had stitched out like at one point. I'm not really sure how it all happened, but I think I'm gonna have to put this through my machine. I'm just like concerned that this is gonna be like too thick for it and will like screw it up, but I think it just has to be strong enough to like, you know, use. So there's that. It's so like ugly and cute. I love it. I have some pins on it. So yeah, this green bag I would say is like an alt for the blue bag. And then I also, actually, yeah, I also would wear sometimes mittens. I think there's a clip of me showing some of them. I'm wearing like a mismatched pair because I've only knit one of them. I also have a backpack, which is like a burgundy red, which again, it's like here. So this is what it looks like. And it's what I use when I go to campus, basically, when I need to like put stuff, you know, books, my laptop, just like PhD stuff. It has 3 buttons. This one says, perhaps you'll like the Free Autonomous Bakers Collective, which I just think is charming. And this is a quote from David Winarovich, and this says, disabled students support disabled staff. So yeah, I like my backpack, it's good. Especially considering like how heavy it gets and how much I have to carry. I also have some other alternatives. So I also have this backpack, which is much smaller. It's just like a tartan backpack, and it like has a drawstring closure. Generally I wear this when I go swimming, when I just need to carry my swimming stuff. It doesn't take loads of stuff, but it's like, you know, good enough. It's really old, and it definitely like is crumbling a little bit. This front pocket has a big hole in. I guess I could repair it. I just sort of haven't really put it on the priority list because like I don't use it that regularly, but I do really like it still. So maybe I should do that after this. I do also have like a much lighter purple coat that sometimes I was wearing when like my big coat was like too hot for me, but I still needed something. That purple coat is like pretty ancient, and it's like quite like, you know, rough, or whatever the word is that I'm looking for. A bit shabby, but I still like wearing it, and like it does the job, like it's fine. I sort of was thinking about whether it's worthwhile to try and repair it, but I also think it's kind of a bit past it really. And I was looking at like maybe getting some spinnaker tape to like go over it, but I just think it's so worn in places that it's actually sort of like not necessarily worthwhile, but it could be. I've also been listening to people who are like repairing outdoor clothing and things, so maybe if I learn a bit more about that, I will. I mean, I'm not getting rid of it, like I will continue to wear it, yeah, but it just means it's a little bit grubby when I wear it out. Another alternative coat is I have like this tartan cape, which I wore like a few times. It has to be like the right temperature and the vibe. I think I do definitely have footage of me wearing it though. I really like it. Yeah, and it's also like a special kind of outfit coat, I guess. In the final week of the, maybe final 2 weeks of the project, I went through my clothes and I tried to figure out what I hadn't worn like at all. I only realised after I had went through that I hadn't worn this at all, but I actually literally looked at it and was like, oh, I've worn that, so I didn't put it in the like to wear pile. But I have been wearing it since the end of the project. But yeah, so I put some things that I was like, okay, good to try and get these in, which I guess is like a little bit sort of manufactured because I kind of prefer the idea of it like capturing like just my natural style, but it's also hard to do that. Like it feels very sort of strange and inauthentic to like constantly be recording what you wear, especially because I rewear things all the time in like days in a row, but then also obviously sometimes I'm not recording for a while and then I wear like the same skirt that I wore 2 times before, but there is actually a break. And because I would say my outfits rely a lot on skirts, like, and I think you can rewear skirts like all the time. I don't think you need to wash them unless there's like a specific reason, or like you spilt something, or it was like a really sweaty day or something. But in general, I think like skirts can get away with like not being washed super regularly, especially if you want them to like last longer. It's a useful sustainability thing too, I guess. I feel a little self-conscious with how much it looks like I rewear stuff, but the thing is I do, so like it's true. And also some days, you know, I get dressed but I'm not going outside, or I'm only going outside for a really brief amount of time to like, I don't know, pick up eggs or something, like, you know, or I'm getting dressed literally just to like sit at my desk and work, and I want to like be dressed, like I have enough energy for that, but I don't have like loads of energy to like go out. I also think that the main things that I didn't wear, except for maybe with my tops, but I didn't sort of bother going through all of those because like it's good to just have like options with like tops and stuff. I do think I need to have a few more, which is why I have some plans, and I did knit something during the time that's a top. But in general, yeah, I haven't kind of thought so much about like not having one of those because I just think it's fine. Anyway, my point actually was that like I would say that the sort of more fancy dresses, like this one, and my pink one, and also this one, those were the ones that didn't really get worn, which makes sense because these are like special occasion dresses. I do have a plan to wear this next Shabbat, I think. Although, I don't know, maybe I'll wear this next Shabbat. I don't know, it's tough. And there's also Shavuot, so I feel like this is a good Shavuot dress. But then this one is long sleeved, but it's shorter, but I think it will be too hot to wear for Shavuot, even though it would be really nice. Or on Shabbat, I don't know. Anyway, but I don't feel like it, you know, demonstrated to me that I'm really not wearing, you know, these clothes and like I should sort of think about getting rid of them. It's just more like they're special occasion dresses and I didn't have occasions for them. And occasionally I do wear like special outfits just for regular times, but I just didn't feel like wearing them with those ones. So let's talk about some of the things here. During the like 2.5-3 month period, I did do some mending. But yeah, so this is one of the skirts I mended a bit. I do need to go back and actually keep mending it because I'm not completely happy with what I did, but I just like shortened the back like placket that I made a long time ago. The thing is, I made this dress a while ago and I definitely made some bad decisions about how I installed the zip at the back, and it's just kind of uncomfortable. But with the repair, it's definitely more wearable than it was, so that's good. And I did then wear it after I repaired it. Another skirt that I repaired was this orange one, which I do think I spoke about, because basically it was just too tight, and so like it was just not comfortable for me to wear. So I just moved where the poppers were, and now it's much less tight. It is, I think, actually slightly looser than I would like, but it's not so loose that it's like a problem. It's just I kind of wanted it to be like, I guess, between where it was and where I made it to be, but that is okay. That's how it goes. And then the third skirt that I mended was this one, because I think like one of the poppers actually broke, like a chunk of it had like come off, so I repaired that. And I think I might have had to do another one, but I can't remember. But yeah, this is great, and this got a lot of wear for me during the project. So let's talk about knitting now. So like I said, I finished one thing during the time frame, and that was this, which is my Tolsta tee, which I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it's really cute. I actually think we are getting to a point where it's actually just too hot for me to wear. It is like generally like cotton wool blends, and there's some silk, and I think one of them isn't actually a cotton wool blend, it's like a wool nettle blend, but I've blocked it now, which I don't think I had the last time I showed it. And I just, yeah, I think it's so cute. I definitely want to make another one, maybe, you know, to gauge last time. I'll leave a link to the podcast episode I made, because I'm pretty sure I've talked about this. I will link it or whatever, because I go in more depth about like the different yarn I use for this, but I won't do that now. So yes, I made this. I also wore it twice during the project, so that was really nice. And then the other thing I was knitting on, which I didn't finish during the project, so I didn't ever actually wear this as an outfit, but I was making it during it, is this Sicimbrium. I've like cropped it quite a lot as a little jumper. This also is not blocked yet, by the way, but and I changed how like the neckline would be. I just like left it as it is because I much prefer it than how it was supposed to be in the pattern. I did also completely make up the sleeves myself because I didn't like how they came out in the pattern. But yeah, I mean, I was making this and I feel like in the time, so it feels like part of the experience of like thinking about my clothes and blah blah blah. I think one of the main things that I guess I could like use to like up my styling is if I wore accessories, but the thing is I just like don't and I find them quite hard. I think this is literally the only like accessory or like bracelet that I wore, and I wore it maybe twice. You know, and it's literally just this very old bracelet that somebody made for me as like you know, an act of friendship from when I was like 19 or something, and I was like, this is so cute, I should wear it. So I have been, but like, you know, literally twice. I guess the other thing about accessories is like sometimes I would add socks before I left, so occasionally I have tried to make sure that I take footage of me wearing the socks. But when I was going through the footage, I was really surprised at how few different socks I wore. I did also wear some leg warmers occasionally to help with the cold, and I did also occasionally wear leggings, but I also find like my sensory stuff, sometimes I just really don't want to wear like leggings or like tights and things, so that's why I wear leg warmers, and they can be really helpful if it is cold, but like I just can't bear to put things on my body. And yeah, it made me be like, I'm not wearing my long socks. Like, I have a purple pair of long socks, I have these rainbow, although I will say I think rainbow like this is not so much my style anymore. I also have these socks, which are kind of ancient and very broken, but I would still wear these. And I think they have a nice pattern. Anyway, so that was why there was loads of socks hanging around, because I wanted to talk about socks. I used to be like so obsessed with socks as a kid. I used to just like love long socks. Go to Camden Town, buy some like over the knee socks with crazy patterns on a weekend with your friends. Loved that. So onto like the outfits. I wasn't sure about like all of the outfits that I put together, but I just decided to like record them anyway for this project. But there's definitely some where I think you can tell from my facial expressions that I'm not convinced. And also I wanted to say, if my hair looks really nice, then I think you should notice it, and if my hair doesn't look really nice, then you don't see it at all. most repeated clothes. I think the most repeated top or like jumper, I didn't actually really count the tops because I just couldn't be bothered, but was, I think, my red jumper, which I wore either 8 or 9 times. I think my most worn dress was the kind of purple floral dress, which I think I wore 5 times, but that was quite close. Like, a lot of dresses I wore between like 2 to 4 times. And then I think that this green skirt just about beat my black check skirt as being the most worn, because this was worn 9 times, which is, yeah, a dress that I made quite a few years ago now, I think in like 2020, 2021. It has mismatched buttons on the back, but it was really nice to just wear. It's very easy to wear, yeah, so it just beat out this skirt. In terms of like the other clothes that I wore that I've made, I wore, I think, basically all of the clothes that I make. That could be slightly off, I'll maybe double check myself, but pretty much every single one, I would say. Like, in terms of approaching this as like an exercise in terms of being like in touch with your clothing, I wanted to share this because I thought it was funny that basically during the time of this project, you know, I repaired like 3 skirts and, you know, modified a top, and I knit a new top, and then of course, like, because clothing is like changeable and when you wear it, like, things change, I noticed that this dress, which I wore about 4 times, I think, got a little hole here in the back. So now, of course, this has gone back into my mending pile. So I was feeling good about having got through it, but I guess now I've got more things in it, but that's okay. I mean, it won't take super long, but I do want to figure out how I want to deal with it, because I love this dress so much. Like, I love it so much. It's pretty old too. It's probably from like 2020, which I mean, I guess in the long scheme of things is not that old, but I guess in terms of how long the average life cycle of a piece of clothing in someone's wardrobe is, that is quite long, because people are just very like churning through their clothing. So yeah, but anyway, the point was, I love it. I need to figure out how to repair it. I was thinking I have some leftover of this material, and like I thought I could like put a block of it over it, or maybe under it, and like mend like that, but I'm not sure. I don't want to like make more problems anyway, and I can't wear it until I've done this, so that's also hard, but that also is motivating because I want to wear it. I love this dress a lot. Yes, there's that. And then also, I actually have already mended this, but this was put in my mending pile like during the 75-day, because I realized I should just put poppers like on this skirt so that I could close it like that, because prior to that I had been like using, well, at one point I had like put through a ribbon into the waistband, which is why there's this little hole, which is where the ribbon would have come out, and then I would like tie it using the ribbon sort of, but I thought that was really silly, so then I was just like pinning it closed with safety pins, which is a classic Anna Marie closure method. But then yeah, I was like, I've honestly really fallen in love with poppers as like a useful quick closure method, and they're fairly like easy to change. You know, you can just cut them out and like move them if you need to for whatever reason. So yeah, I was like, okay, I should really do that. So I did, but not in time for the end of the challenge. But at least, you know, I got to wear this during it, but I just not with the poppers as they have now been put in. But I think that's fine. I did it literally yesterday. So yeah, that's like a kind of state of my wardrobe. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I did kind of expect myself to wear a bit more makeup with this challenge, but I didn't in the end because I just didn't feel like it. But I have, you know, I really do, there's like a few outfits that I think really work really well, which maybe I'll show and highlight or something. And also, you know, I dress because I want to be comfortable and I want to look like myself, and that's really important to me. So I do feel like these outfits are an expression of me, whilst also being maybe slightly limited by my own like personal like sensory limitations. I know I spoke a little bit about like the lack of accessories. I mean, I do think one of my key things that I guess I could also work on with accessorizing would be like my hair, because I have a lot of hair. I can do stuff with it. I also often don't do loads of stuff with it. You know, I'm often either wearing like it as a plait or as a bun, and then like occasionally I have it down. I do like to do a half up, half down because that's nice, but that is something I mostly do for like special occasions. As it's hot, like I just find it, having my hair down makes me so hot, which is why it's often not. I mean, I think I've like yapped on enough, so I think I will stop there. I really hope that this has been like in some way interesting. Definitely like let me know if you've like done this kind of challenge, if you're interested in doing it. It also ended on a very emotional and intense day for me, which is not what I had planned. But that's also kind of, I guess, a bit special too about this project, the way that like you live your life as you're like documenting what you're wearing, you know. It's about being alive too, and that's nice, I guess. I do wish I had worn my petticoats more. I only wore one once, I think. You can't really see. It's here, I promise. My other one is packed up because I'm moving, so not all of my clothes are out anymore anyway. Yeah, I will talk to you when I next talk to you. Thank you so much for listening, and have a lovely day. Bye!